recognition of visitors. Would you like to speak?
And just in regards to the tournament, it was good time. We ended up doing both campuses, all three gyms for Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday we just used the main gym in Indianapolis, and that really worked out well because then we didn't have everybody spread out. So hopefully we do it that way again next year.
Good. Have a good turnout?
Yeah, we had a really good time. Only kicked out a couple people, but one guy brought a dog in. Yeah,
I miss those days.
he was not very nice to get out of there, but
That's too bad. Well, I'm glad you had a good turnout. Thank you for all you guys do for the kids.
We were very excited to keep a trophy at home too.
yeah. Yep, I've been doing it since 23, and this is the first time that SB has won. They got, 5th grade got 3rd place if you didn't hear. So,
Nice.
and my son's on the 5th grade team, so that was even nicer.
Alright, so at this point, I need a motion to enter closed session for the reasons stated on the agenda. Motion made by Matt Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tupper, call roll please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
So two.
Motion made by Jeff Stahl, is there a second? Matt Wood, call roll please.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning. Yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes. Okay, I need a motion to employ Alyssa Wiley as a full-time at-will benefited paraprofessional effective January 21st, 2026.
So moved.
Motion made by Gordon Campbell, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, call roll please.
Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning. Yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes.
Consent agenda. Everyone received your copy in your board packet. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Browning, is there a second? Stop, call roll please.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning. Yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
The ISB update is strictly the division meetings, for Abe Lincoln will be March 26th in Springfield, and there is advocacy day at the Capitol on March 24th if anyone is interested.
I think one part you left out of there is the School Board Appreciation Month. So we want to just tell you guys thank you for the job that you do.
SVI has some lovely, they were gonna be on the door, but I didn't make it in time, but we have some lovely pictures for you, and then we have your own color sheets if you'd like to take home and color them yourself. So, indoor recess is great sometimes, so.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So, yes.
So we get a day and a month?
And we want to do
I feel, yes, March.
So
March new picture month.
Okay.
it's before the meeting, after.
Probably before, so you don't fret so bad.
Wood, I absolutely thank you for the job that you do, and I appreciate you. I know, I feel like all the teachers and administrators appreciate you guys too. You're excellent to work with. Building reports for the principals. Anybody has anything for them? Superintendent's report, strategic plan update. I provided you with a copy of the strategic plan scorecard. Some of these are kind of subjective when I go through here and I just color them. Green means obviously that we are on track or completed. Yellow is in process, and the redder color is just maybe that we haven't started and we're not to that spot yet, but do keep in mind it is a 3-year plan. so I feel like we're on track very well with how far we have been in the last year's time. It's been a year almost since we started the strategic plan, so very, very happy with that progress. Bus barn update, we have a build window date of April 6th. I had another meeting with the builders and the project manager and those guys, and we narrowed it down to start that week, which would be the week following spring break. I have spoken with Hutchins, who will then, in that week of spring break, hopefully get everything torn out. He said it should only take about a day or two. If we can get going on a little sooner, maybe we will. But we have got to displace all the stuff out of the bus barn currently, get it back. I met with Bruce today about getting shut-offs done or pauses to the service, because we'll have to contact Amber about the electrical. One snafu we may have on that that we need to work out is we're going to still need to power the gas in the diesel tanks there. So we're thinking about putting up a temporary board of some kind and running it down off that pole that we're running service, because we're not going to do the service underground. When we put it in, I don't believe we're just going to come straight off it like we do now. The guy from Sturdy Build, who's the project manager for that, will be here Friday with the excavator that he uses, and we'll kind of talk out some of those things. I know one thing we want to do is move the propane tank back as well a little bit, just based on code. So we're going to work through some of those things and get that done. But I think Bruce and I got a pretty good plan together on how to get that stuff knocked out. A lot of the stuff we're going to take over to the bus barn in Heliopolis that we cleaned out earlier this year. We've got quite a bit of space in there, some things that are still in there, but that should give us enough space to get all the tools and stuff out of there and get those in there. We'll have the office furniture and things, Mr. Faust, up in the room that used to be Mr. Quippy's down from the office up here, and then we'll run the drivers out of there with their radios and everything. We'll relocate the buses to the overflow parking lot. This will all, of course, be after we have to have them plugged in. And then we can kind of keep everybody away from that area during construction. They are hoping with our construction schedule to be done and out of there with the Sturdy Build pole barn part of the building by mid-June, either the 1st through the 15th is the game plan right now. And then they can do the finish work that'll be in there hopefully. But we're thinking 2 to 3 weeks on the main building, outer shell when they do concrete, plumbing rough in, and they can move on to the lean-tos. That should take about a week apiece. Plan 3 weeks for weather and whatnot, come back to the 60 by 56 to finish the interior, ceiling and all that, and then start doing the drywall and stuff in the break room. Hopefully we're out of there before August, will be the plan. But it's been good since we've worked through some of the issues we've seen with the engineers and getting things lined out. That was certainly a good experience, because it could have been a mess if we had not done that. So that's where we're at there. Ameren lighting incentives, I sent you guys some initial numbers, and I've since got some more numbers. So basically, Ameren's been running this incentive work for a couple of years now, and I actually went to the business symposium and did the carbon-free assessment through Ameren. They came out at the beginning of the year with the engineers, looked things over, told us what we're spending in terms of kilowatt hours and natural gas and things throughout our buildings, provided us with recommendations. And then I went ahead and started doing some lighting assessments, because we have tried to do some lights and stuff. I didn't know that we could turn stuff in and get money for it. But some of them we can, some lights we can't, if they're not Energy Star rated, which we didn't know at the time either. So some of our shop light lighting that we've done in here isn't eligible for those. But how these guys operate is the different companies come in and they'll retrofit lighting that they can retrofit, they'll replace fixtures that they can replace. The incentives basically pay for all of the stuff. And then we're on the hook for the labor. So you saw, I think the quote for the primary building was about $25,000 to do the work. I got the ones today for Heliopolis and Niantic, which were roughly, for the manpower side of it, were roughly about $45,000 and $50,000 for the two. And at the same time, what they will do is what we've done with some of the classrooms that we've retrofitted is to replace the ceiling tile, paint the grids, replace the lights, but all the lights will also have occupancy sensors within them, so they can dim based on the light coming through the windows, which saves energy. They can turn off if there's no movement in the room for X amount of time, and will operate like that, and Ameren pays for all that, because that will reduce what we're pulling from the grid then. I've talked to some districts that have done it, they said it's great, and they said the savings that you will see will pay for itself. I think you saw what they're basing kilowatt hour power charged at now. And that is, you know, saying it's not gonna go up in the next 10 years, this will be your savings per month for a 10-year period. And then they say this is how many months, so basically for the primary building, I think it was 33 or 34 months to pay back what you pay into it. There is also a grant then that I'm looking at getting in addition to this that doesn't open until February 1st, but it would essentially pay then for all the other work. So the tile and all that would be in addition to what they've provided us with the quotes for the lighting labor, and that was gonna be another $60,000. So it's gonna be under $200,000 to do the whole thing. And what I wonder about is when some of the new laws and stuff take into effect, how long are the incentives gonna be around? Because some of the laws are gonna say, like, you will do this, with no incentive to that then, because we're just gonna have to do it. If we're gonna have to do it eventually anyway, we should try to do what we can to get the most out of the money. So I'm gonna investigate more on the copay grant and see where we're at on that. Is anybody averse to me putting any more work into this to try to see if I can basically retrofit these buildings with lighting and stuff that would be good?
We did the gym here, correct, already?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to think what we have already done, because I know we've done a few things. So did we do Iliapolis gym as well?
It's been done.
Okay.
But again, with the occupancy sensors and stuff, I need to go back through with him too and say, hey, are you gonna replace those? You know, we just did some lights in the unit office, but since they don't align with those sensors, I don't know that.
And Ameren is picking who's employing, or who's doing this work?
Yes, they are, the gentleman I met with, or the 3 different groups I met with are subcontractors under Ameren.
So you got like 3 different bids then, already for the same work, or just 3 different?
Well, they don't necessarily give you the same work, they give you different options and what they recommend. And this one is out of the, well, I'm still waiting on one, the third, the first one I got was not as thorough as this one, so I'm gonna have some discussions with him about that and say, you know, hey, is this really everything that we need to do?
I just think with the overall cost, if we're gonna be looking at 120 to 200,000, then we're gonna be looking at needing to make sure we're getting apples to apples and
Well, yeah.
getting
And-
the best cost overall
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
labor.
And I'm waiting on our energy advisor to get back with me on these different projects and programs and stuff. Because there's still some of it that I don't totally understand. But I know the one company was STL Lighting, but they're kind of they're all a specialty, specialty contractors, so kind of like when we had Tech and stuff, you basically just have to get the bids and see what the work is, but I'm gonna reach back out to them and say, hey, what will be your cost for all of this, because the incentives will be the same no matter what. But to see what their labor is and their mobility. The third one is more localized, and I don't know if he will be a big enough outfit to take this on once he gets into it, but we'll find out once he gets back to me. But I will continue digging into it and getting more information, and hopefully we can bring something back to you in February and March.
Just to clarify in my head, some of this is actually gonna replace fixtures, and some of it's gonna put occupancy to basically lower our usage.
Some of the, yes, the.
Years ago,
occupancy-
go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, the occupancy sensors would go in on like the switches, or
Yeah.
most of them I've seen they plug straight into one light and then it daisy chains off all of them.
Because like you were talking to me, we've already spent money on replacing fixtures that are 2 to 5 years old. I know things changed quite a bit over the years, but
Yeah.
we've kind of already taken charge of replacing, have we been through this once already with Ameren back before or not?
Like I said, I know it was the gyms and that kind of thing, but I don't
Gyms,
know
they
that we
did it.
got into classrooms and.
Yeah, these are
what
all
have you.
classrooms, and all those we've done have been pretty well just us doing it. And replacing like ballasts and tombstones and,
I don't think this was
retrofitting.
before, many moons ago, it was, we go in and you got a fixture, you put your ballast down, change it to LED lighting or whatever.
Yeah.
It was the big fix back then, I still don't know if it's the same thing, or we're talking totally new fixtures or what.
They do all LED, and it depends a lot on the fixtures in the rooms too.
Okay.
So they said like with the drop ceilings, the flat panels like are in my office, is what they recommend with them with the occupancy sensor daisy chain in there too. And I said, as long as we can override it, like, if
Yeah.
something isn't working right, you know, as long as we can change that from the controls, you know, that'll be good. But, I just got the final bids this morning from him on some of the stuff, so I've gotta get back to him and kind of get with him and get some more information, and then kind of go back to the STL lighting and then see what I get from the third guy finally too. But, yeah, we're nowhere near done yet.
Gotcha.
We did it at our church years ago, 5 years ago, I think.
We did it at our office, but it was all free. Back in the day, they did fixtures and labor and lighting and everything.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that's what we get with this, because if it's not, then I'm gonna start saying, okay, where can we trim?
That's the most important, yeah.
No concerns getting more information, obviously, but I think it would be nice to see how it folds into the, when we were talking about strategic plan earlier. We have the 10-year life safety coming up. We have another meeting with the same company, I think, to look at maintenance plan schedule. This how does it all tie together? Would maybe what would be a 5 for 10-year plan for buildings?
Yeah. To me, one question I would have is just the cost savings, if we're able to get it paid for, of course, but the cost savings we would realize as the energy costs are increasing, that would be my biggest thing is how much money are we saving by doing it if we can get it a fraction of the cost to defer that. I mean, you know, you think about if it pays for itself in 3 years or 5 years, you know, then how much money are we saving? That would put us that much further ahead. That would be my biggest thing about it, like the LED light versus a fluorescent light, I guess is just as good lighting, like I can see, okay. But if it does, you know, we do realize more of an energy cost with it, I think that would be the biggest one. But when they did the assessments with us, that was by far the biggest thing, besides our HVAC. That was our major costs, you know, in terms of energy. So those, of course, became my, you know, I'm like, well, yeah, I can really change these faucets, you know, try to insulate some doors with some weather stripping and stuff, but I can really make a dent if I really look at our lights and I look at our HVAC systems, so that's kind of been my major focus right now, but all good points. But I agree with you, Josh, on that, is how is this gonna fit in with the grand scheme? And hopefully too, we can get a little bit more into the weeds with our HLS, which is scheduled for the 1st of March here in spring break. I'll be with them on that. Hopefully we get some more answers. The BLED head guy, Todd Segulik, has asked for a meeting with me. I'll be meeting with him next Friday, to discuss some long range planning. So him kind of want to know where we're at on some things. And I said, I want to hear about what he's got to say in terms of our 10-year survey that's coming up. So he knows our buildings pretty well. Fourth part on the superintendent, I'm sorry, does anybody else have anything on it here? We're in lighting and incentives. The fourth item here is in regard to our Thomas bus. It is the only bus that we currently own. All the other buses we have are on a 3-year lease still for another year. And we just kind of use the Thomas to sub things out right now, and we are currently investigating already, even though the lease isn't up for a year, bus companies and offerings and what may be best for us in the future. My thought process, based on everything I've looked at, and this has been something I've been digging into for the last year and a half, at a minimum, is I think it's more sensible for us us to go back to bus ownership than it is to continually dump money into a lease that we get nothing out of in the end. And these leases are extravagant. It is difficult for us to get out of a big lease though, and lease your whole fleet in the course of a year or two. So I'm working on a proposal to bring to you guys that'll require us to continue leasing buses for a while, but to where we can start purchasing buses over time. And I think that currently, once I finalize it, I'm in about 5 or 6 years, we will have a fully owned fleet, if you decided to choose my proposal. The equity that we get from purchasing buses, then gives us a little bit more power when we're working with getting new buses in terms of negotiating, bringing our price down, so on and so forth. So I'm digging into this pretty heavy right now. I'm hoping to have something to you in the next month or two. But what I want to maybe look at doing is, with our bus that's coming off the depreciation schedule, we won't be getting any money for it anymore from the state, prorated, of course, just make sure to put that plug in there. But I think it may make sense in moving towards this owned fleet to look at the possibility of trading this in while we've got a pretty good trade-in value on a new vehicle that will become part of our fleet and will also maybe keep us longer than 5 years. Because another thing I would like to look at is as we start to purchase buses, we start to sell buses every 5 years. So basically on a lease schedule, so that we're not keeping anything too long for it to incur a lot of maintenance and tear it up. But this would be kind of the first step in that, and potentially also give us a chance to work with another company. One thing I'm gonna be looking at in the next month or two is also how we finance this, because what I've seen with our current company is through a very large lease company, and of course that was a post-COVID lease. And they said that's the only one we work with. That's not the only option. And from discussing some things with some other superintendents and some folks, I think it would be worth our time to investigate other financing options through our bank and also through King's Financial and some folks like that. Not talking about any bonds or anything, so don't worry about that too much, but their rates are much more competitive with what we've been seeing too, and we're not at the mercy of the company necessarily. But
What would we do for maintenance if we go back to ownership? Because our guy doesn't do maintenance.
well, I'm looking at a few things with that, but for the bus, I'm looking at possibly purchasing for next year if you guys choose to do so. It would be a gas bus. Those are much easier for us to get maintenance on. Based on the type of engine it is, we can take it over to South Shores or another mechanical outfit like that. There's also some travel mechanics that you know about. And we do have some folks on staff with transportation that while they don't maybe have a diesel degree or something like that, they can do oil changes, they can do some of the lighter maintenance that we currently have the traveling mechanic from UT do for us. But that would definitely be something to consider within that as well.
And the gas buses, do they have catalytic converters?
I'm sure they do, I think everybody needs to have those.
The diesel doesn't, right? Because we only got stolen, I think only 1 or 2 of our buses got hit because, is that right? Diesels don't have catalytic converters. So then I'm just thinking safety-wise and stealing down the road, like, my mind is moving on to what our potential problems could be down the road with that and getting them secured at night and that type of thing.
Well, another
So-
thing I think with the bus facility too that we need to look into, especially after this last situation with the work truck, is we need to look at some kind of fencing around the area as well as better cameras to actually see
People,
stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, you can't make up the stuff. The drilling into the gas tank, we're lucky that didn't blow up the truck. So, yeah, that was, if you've got an anti-siphon tank, drilling into the gas tank is probably not the greatest thing to get into there. So I'm looking into that, but I'm still kind of in the early stages with that as I am the Livingston, but I wanted to get it on your radar and just make sure, again, if anybody's got a huge problem with me looking into that, let me know now. If not, I want to proceed with kind of getting some more information, but I think it would be, moving forward, a huge cost savings for us. Unless something But another thing is too, with the new buses and things, you know, you get money back on the depreciation schedules with the transportation plan for the state. Maybe one day that'll be funded 100% again. That would be really nice. We're pushing very hard for it with our lobbying group from the Superintendent's Association, the School Board Association, to try to get some things to happen. So I can give you more on that once I get some more, but I have a few irons in the fire and no 100% set plan yet. But I will get one to you as soon as I get one formulated.
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing all of the numbers as they break out and see what you can find on it before we go forward with another lease for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay?
This is a full-size bus?
The one on, it is a full-size bus, the one I'm gonna sell, yeah. Let's see, we're on to this.
Okay. So we have the school calendar up first.
Yeah, we went through 5 drafts, and there are some mistakes actually in your printed draft here that are down on the
Wait.
bottom. In terms of some dates and stuff down here, but I made those corrections earlier. The calendar itself should be good to go.
I think there's a color correction here. I'm just trying to find parent-teacher conferences, which it says would be green.
They're right here.
They're blue, so, yeah, that's,
No, is it?
I printed in color, it said they would be green, that's what I was looking for them, and
Okay.
I figured they were here.
Yeah, it's, I don't know why my colors aren't matching up there.
That's the only one.
We'll check that out.
I think everything else,
Our biggest thing here is I worked with the calendar committee and we went back and forth, and as you see, this is draft 5, it's actually draft 6. But I just didn't have the heart to change draft 5 to draft 6 with the small adjustment that we made. So one of the things that we saw here, and I think somebody had seen it in another district and brought it to our attention, but they said, what about doing a week break at Thanksgiving versus 3 days off? Since we already have the Wednesday in the contract, they said, well, what if we start school a little bit earlier? We can tack those on, and we kind of tacked one on at the beginning of the year, one on at the end of the year, to try to balance those things out. But they said, you know, Monday and Tuesday of that week is usually a waste. Like, for the people they have that don't come, or, you know, they're basically doing classroom parties and things like that. They thought maybe that would be a cool thing to try, is to have a basically fall break during that week. And then it works out with everything else pretty well. We still have our 5 emergency days tacked on at the end of the year in case we need to use those, but with e-learning, hopefully we don't. But then that still keeps us in a good amount of time to get finished with the year if we do have to access any of those days. So I think that was kind of the thought process, Jessica. I know you said about the end of the year versus the beginning of the year, but I think that we kind of had some give and take there, so we can kind of push a little bit at the end, but if we get these teacher institute days done a little earlier, everybody seemed pretty affable with that. Administrators thought it would work well too, and then everything else is pretty well the same as it had been. We do have the 2 teacher institutes in January and then in the spring, which I think is a good use of our time, and then the front 2 to kind of load us up at the beginning of the year, but I think it'd be a good calendar to test out and try.
Spring
You
break
have the
ends up-
election day holiday this year coming up, so we have that in there too.
Spring break ends up being actually 6 days out of school. Is it Good Friday and then the whole next
Because
week?
of Good Friday, yeah.
Did anybody seem to have any concerns with, I don't know, what you call
Starting in July.
it? That's what I said. I said I would prefer, as a parent, I would prefer to have them to the end of the year rather than the beginning, because, I mean, August 13th is so hot and so early.
Yeah.
It's so hot, but no,
So
my
for
question,
years, just keep beating that dead horse and we'll keep going.
I mean,
Um,
you got football already starting.
Early.
Yeah, and
So
that's,
did a week forward, right?
and they moved, yeah, dead week's no longer dead week now, so.
football.
Where are we going? I'm sorry, I never
That's
mentioned.
okay. So they have a full week off for Thanksgiving in November, and then they go back for 2 weeks and 4 days. I mean, I'm just thinking about motivation. When you had a full week off, and you're about ready to have 2 more weeks off, you know. And I know that it's not really that much different from having 3 days off for Thanksgiving and only coming 2 more. It's all very close together.
I just wonder for the working parent what that does for childcare and Monday and Tuesday, because they're not gonna be off, you know, those days, so.
I just locked mine in the closet.
Yeah. Don't say that on camera.
Oh. That was a joke.
I know.
I mean, the second quarter is not really a lot going on. I mean, you're out of school when you are in, with doing that week that way.
Which I think, you know, from a teacher perspective is probably helpful, keeps everybody a little bit more in tune on the weeks that you are there, I would guess. And maybe more focused, and, because they do get a little bit crazy, I assume, close to holidays, but still, again, when I go back to the parental aspect of it, which I don't do anymore, I think that would have been a hardship for me to have to find somewhere for my kids on Monday and Tuesday. When I would have taken one day off or something Wednesday and had Thursday, Friday off, but.
I think it's a small portion, but I think we do have some families that actually travel anyway, so those kids are gone anyway. I think in our district of our size, it's a small amount, but I can think of 2 or 3 kids right now that, like, they would just use that, their family's gonna be gone anyway because they're traveling farther. So I think it's gonna benefit some and it's not gonna benefit others, like, you're never gonna cover all of them. I do think it's a small population though that would miss those days anyway.
I just think it's 2 additional days. We're gonna give them 2 more days.
I mean, it is what it is. I think if you guys are gonna try it, you're still getting your 176 days or whatever. Again, starting so early has always bothered me, just with state fair and those kids who farm and show animals and that kind of thing, but, that used to not be a thing. We always started after the state fair ended, and we just kind of keep moving and moving. Like I said, pretty soon we're gonna be August 1st, but I'm not opposed enough to it to have you guys not try it for a year and see what happens. As long as our instructional days are being accounted for, I guess, and all of the,
I think when you have 2-day work weeks, like I hear the teachers a lot of times say, we've only got 2 days this week, so we gotta work really hard. So I don't think it's like missed opportunities when there's a shorter week. I almost feel like it's more of a push to get things in. And I do think the kids are more focused at that time, but then when we have the 4-day weeks, I feel like they're like 12-day weeks, so I don't know.
I assume your whole committee was on board and voted that that's how they wanted to roll.
Nobody was opposed to it.
I guess I'm taking vacation Thanksgiving week next year. Alright. Okay, moving on. So we need to, we're not setting.
That would be
that's
the
another
motion to
motion,
adopt
okay.
the calendar.
Yeah, so motion to adopt the FY 26-27 school calendar as presented. Motion made by Matt, what is there a second?
Second.
Is that Lori? Call roll please.
Brown.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero. Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Alright, so we have our closed session minutes that we need to, buy annually?
Twice a year.
Yep. To, keep the closed session minutes from July 2025 through December 2025 closed. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Martha Leeper, is there a second?
Second.
Hilbert, call roll please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. And then graduation dates.
Graduation day, so I've got these on the agenda, but in looking at, this is something we've always done and always done since I've been here, is to vote to set graduation, vote to set promotion. But it is not something that we have to do as a board. And I would recommend, if you are okay with it, that we do not do it anymore. And that we set the graduation date, we set the promotion date, or whatever we do date-wise with that, just administratively. A few different reasons. One reason is to save you time as a board, which I know that's not a huge amount of time. But we will get calls the second week of school at the high school wanting to know when graduation is.
Could it be
If we are able
incorporated
just set that.
Can it just be into the calendar?
calendar? When you set the
The way we have the
calendar,
calendar set now, it basically is, would fall on that every time.
And now that we don't have snow days.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say make it a part of the calendar,
And then we'll just be done with
then
it.
you know. I mean, you know, even the school year before.
So, yeah, and that's what I'm gonna propose that we do from here on out, just take that off the agenda. from here on out.
And maybe your calendar can reflect graduation day.
When does the calendar get on the website for next year?
Tomorrow.
So do you want to set them today, or we just,
We won't set them, we'll just,
so we'll
we don't
table
have to
these
take
two?
action of it.
Okay. Action, and then press policy update 120.
I provided you with press policy 120 last month. As I told you last month, upon review of it, it is mainly just law changes. There's really not anything to discuss about it. It's just a case of do we want to adopt it to update the press book or not. I would recommend that you do update it because we need to be legally compliant. And move on from there.
What do we decide on middle school promotion?
Nothing?
It has to.
We didn't do anything?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna continue it this year, I think what we said.
I think half
Look
of
at
us
it.
said cancel it
Look
already
at it
for this
this
year,
year.
but he was gonna continue it for one more year at least.
Okay.
Well, later on.
Plus-
We're gonna do it this year and next year and cancel the sixth graders that are now won't have it.
You've been telling them that every day? Morning announcement.
They forget what I even say.
It's not too late to not do it this year.
Exactly.
So, that's what I.
They don't.
All right, so motion to adopt press policy plus update 120 as presented. Motion made by Mr. Stahl, is there a second? Browning, call roll please.
Stahl?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Browning? Yes. Campbell?
Yes.
Guerrero?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Lakeman? Yes.
The Dodge Caravan.
Okay, Stormy is
Oh.
in rough shape, and we were gonna have some more work done to her, and we kinda are at the point where we say, are we gonna keep pumping money into it, or do we need to part ways? So I thought maybe, what we would try, instead of trying to trade it in, is to, look at maybe just putting it out to bid like we did the tractor, and see what we get for it. That's what I was thinking. Somebody else pasture, it's as simple as us signing the title over when we get it from somebody, we can take it off the insurance, and things like that, but I just don't think it's gonna be worth it for us if if somebody wants it and they can work on vehicles and stuff or wanna pay to get it fixed up, I think it would be a good vehicle for somebody. It's certainly served us well, but she old. So, I would hope, in the future maybe to, put that towards something like a transit van or something like that. That'll also be part of my proposal for transportation, but, at a later date. A large, like, Ford, excavator. Maybe do that instead of an activity bus, since we can pay for it once and not 3 years in a row.
The only thing I didn't see in it was mileage. Remember when I had that in?
Oh, add mileage to the bid before payroll. That's a good point.
Tractor is actually neighbor's pasture.
Say again?
So the tractor is actually in your neighbor's pasture.
Crosby line?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Sure, sure.
Socially, he was very happy that it was going back to the neighborhood.
So I need a motion to approve selling the 2010 Dodge Caravan through a sealed bid process. Motion made by Mr. Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Browning, call roll please.
Wood?
Yep.
Browning?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Guerrero?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Lakeman? Yes. Stahl?
Yes.
All right, we were looking at, some sidewalk bids, to go around the 3 pieces of the pre-K playground. We had talked about doing that on the entrance there, which is currently kind of a little lane going to the playground. We have to do it to be ADA compliant per the pre-K, diagram, we have the sidewalk that is currently next to the parking lot there, but on the other three sides, we need to get that sealed up. And also, there's not really dirt and stuff up against that backfill. You can notice the gravel that's underneath it, can kind of start seeping out. If we don't, we're gonna put dirt or something on, but I said, well, if we're gonna look at putting the sidewalks anyway, let's look at doing that first, and then any other backfill we need to do then on the other side of the sidewalks. Got a couple bids. I never got my third one that I was trying to get, but out of the two bids that I got, the cheapest was Hutchins Excavating, which I provided you with. And I recommend that you accept that bid.
We gotta go around the perimeter of the entire fence, just for the new pre-K.
Just the pre-K.
It's gonna go around the entire perimeter,
Yes,
not just where a gate's at.
yes. ADA compliant.
It's kinda weird to me.
Same.
Putting concrete,
You can see
we're
from, you're putting concrete where nobody's gonna be.
good, keep moving on, it's fine. I'm just scratching my head on that one.
So motion to accept a bid not to exceed $9,800 from Hutchins Excavating